Everybody. Today we're going to be looking at our affixes, so prefixes and suffixes for Unit 1 for vocabulary. First one is one we actually looked at yesterday when we did our base words, and that's the YZE, or more commonly IZE. You'll see IZE a lot more often than you'll see YZE. And it, like we talked about yesterday, it turns a word into a verb. The word that we are doing in this unit is analyze. And like we said yesterday, it's to study something closely and carefully. And some other examples of this, and these are all IZE words, are colorize, crystallize, hypnotize, lots of science words, and an IZE. And some non-examples are size and prize. They both end in IZE, but they have absolutely nothing to do with our suffix. They just happen to end in those letters for other reasons. Our next suffix is ICAL. And ICAL is a suffix that makes a word into an adjective. So we're going to get a word that describes a noun here. The word that we're doing in this unit is analytical. So it's relating to the study of something. It's an adjective. Somebody might have an analytical mind. That means their mind is analytical. It likes to study and think about things. And some examples are evangelical or cyclical. There are a lot of them. And I can't think of any non-examples, so if you can find one, like a word that ends in ICAL but isn't an adjective, bring it to me and I'll give you some sort of prize. All right, so SIS is a suffix that turns a word into a noun. And our word this week is analysis, which is the careful study of something. So we've got analyze, which is the thing you do, or it's the action. I analyze. The analysis is the actual thing. I'm doing an analysis. You don't use analysis as the action. It is the noun that you do. And some other examples. Again, this is a really kind of sciencey suffix. Photosynthesis, genesis, mitosis. They're all things. Photosynthesis is the act of photosynthesizing. Mitosis is mitosizing. I have no idea, and I couldn't find or think of any non-examples. So again, think of one and I'll find you some kind of prize. ANT. The suffix ANT, and that should say ANT, not ANG, it turns a word into an adjective. So we've got more adjectives here. And the word that we're doing in this unit is relevant, which means important. Some other examples are truant. Truant is a word that describes a student who never comes to school. Vigilant, significant. And some non-examples are just plain ant, pant, rant, and elephant. These are not adjectives, but they just happen to end in ANT. Now we're into our only poor, lonely prefix of the week. We've got this word IR. And IR is one of the many prefixes that means not. It usually comes before a base word that starts with the letter R, which is, this week, our word relevant. You put an IR in front of it, and then you get irrelevant. It means not important. Some other examples are irregular. I put irregular twice, irreplaceable, and then a non-example is irk. If you irk someone, you make them mad, and that is not an adjective, it's a noun. All right. The suffix ANCE, it is a noun. Or excuse me, it turns words into nouns. And our word this week is relevance, which is a quality that is important. I might ask you, what is the relevance? Which is kind of like saying, why is it relevant? Why is it important? And some other examples are tolerance. Tolerance is the act of tolerating. Resistance is the act of resisting. Repentance is the act of repenting or saying you're sorry. And then a non-example is dance. It's not a noun. I mean, I guess it can be a noun, but there's also the verb. Now we've got our ABLE suffix, which is kind of an easy one to remember. It turns a word into an adjective, and that adjective will mean able to do something. And you've got the word able in it. So able to blank. Oh, it's able. It's an adjective. So we've got debatable, able to be argued. So if I say that it is not debatable, you will sit down and take your test, that means you can't argue it. But some things are debatable. Whether we go out for pizza or out for burgers for dinner, that could be debatable. And some more examples. Tolerable, able to be tolerated. Doable, able to be done. Edible, able to be eaten. Eat turns into ed, but close enough. And a noun example is table. It does end with able, but it's not an adjective. It's a thing. It's a noun. Now we're on to our weird word. You may have noticed that debate is on our list twice as a noun and a verb. And we know that the verb debate means to argue about something. But then if you argue about something, you have a debate. So it's one of those weird situations where they just took a verb and they turned it into an adjective as well. They turned it into a noun as well. So if you and I debate something, we are having a debate. So debate can be both a noun and a verb. Why? Just because. So it can be a noun, which is a discussion between people who do not agree, which is a fancy, nice way of saying an argument. Thanks and have a great day.